Hello, everyone, and welcome. We will explore the differences between traditional and semantic keyword research. This is quite important because it will not only show you why traditional keyword research is now a little bit obsolete, but it will also hopefully provide you with enough context to understand the importance of semantic keyword research. Keyword research is the starting point for all organic marketing projects. It uncovers how, why, and when your target customer searches for and discovers businesses like yours online. It can also help you understand what target customers' needs are based on their searches online. The old way of doing keyword research involves things like keyword targeting, keyword stuffing, keyword density, and suitability assessment of the keywords that you're choosing based on factors like keyword difficulty. The new way is more focused on brand relevant concepts, and it aims to understand the user's content format needs and also to understand the user's information needs, things like intent. And also, it aims to assess how suitable a certain term is before it's targeted for content creation based on the production abilities of the organization and how they can address this particular topic. While before, the focus of keyword research was to discover keywords to target on a page, nowadays the aim is understanding the user's content and information needs and to pair that with the brand content production abilities and the need to appear in a relevant way in different platforms. So there are several key things to consider within this definition. On one hand, we have the user content and information needs. And on the other hand, we have the brand content production abilities and how they are controlling their appearance on different platforms and how relevant they want to be. In other words, the way brands approach content production has also changed as a result of changes in search engine algorithms and user preferences. The user-centric organizations of today don't create content on everything everywhere for a given topic. Instead, what they do is they use semantic keyword research and user research to know where to appear platform-wise, with what type of content, what information to include, and what brand voice to present that information with to users. So take a look at that definition here. And that would be the approach that we're going to follow in order to really understand how users search and how organizations online can be useful for the users that are performing searches. Semantic keyword research requires a user-focused strategy for interpreting explicit and implicit search intent and search context from queries. It also requires an insightful analysis of queries, pinpointing the topic and other indications of how the user wants information to be served to them, and also a strategic decision-making process on content creation informed by pre-existing knowledge, topics, and entities, and a ton of prioritization on what content to actually create. So let's talk about traditional keyword research for a second, and I will make an argument of why it is still extremely useful, but also becoming quite outdated. The traditional keyword research process follows these steps. We will first find seed keywords. Maybe we have a list of 10 or 20. We will plug those keywords in a tool. We will sort and filter results and evaluate difficulty. With time, some of these steps have become a little bit more detailed than others. The good keyword research process typically would include a selection of what seed keywords to target, the ones that are important for the business and the user, or different ways that the products could be discovered. Also, whether the keywords are educational or intent driven, and surface ideas from competitors and the search engine result pages. In the next step, we might use different tools as opposed to just relying on one, like SEMrush, Keyword Planner, People also ask tools. You might break down keywords based on goal, like traffic potential, topical authority, competition, SERP features, which is amazing to do. And you can choose keywords based on factors like low competition and high traffic potential, for instance, as one alternative. But most keyword research processes don't really include these steps, and they should. We're talking steps like using user surveys and first-party research data and original research to actually inform what keywords are important to users. Then, after we take related keywords to actually identify the search intent behind those, why users have searched for it, what platforms do they expect to see, what content do they expect to see, and then to also evaluate SERP features and SERP competitors that are ranking in order to actually inform what kind of content do we need to create for this, and then to also assess brand relevance as a final step before we actually put any content into production, how relevant it is for our brand to be addressing this kind of topic. And if not, can we partner with third parties to plug our product or service without actually creating the full content piece, kind of like a brand mention or a backlink? Just some of the limitations that exist for this process are the fact that we are skewed by input data sources. We're working with incomplete or flawed data as a result of using third-party tools. We are relying a ton on metrics like search volume, keyword difficulty, and competitiveness. And you might be wondering how this came to be and why. Since the early days, many of Google's ranking systems evaluated content relevance based on query matching. And what this means essentially is that they would take on-page text elements like the title or the URL or the content itself and assess based on the search query whether that content would satisfy the user's needs. So essentially the logic was if it matches the title, if it matches the URL, and if it appears more than X number of times, then most likely it will satisfy the user's search intent. Needless to say, we have evolved from those times. Several major algorithm updates have happened since that time to actually shake things up quite a lot in terms of how Google understands user search behavior, how they understand search intent, and how well they can actually assess what kind of content is good, what is relevant to the user query, and most recently also what is helpful. If you've ever heard the term moving from strings to things, that's exactly what it's referring to. We're moving away from keywords and terms on a given page or in the metadata. We're moving towards understanding topics, concepts, how they relate to the real world, and also things like entities and so on, and tying those back to user behavior. Google now has better systems that take in significantly more data points as signals and can make more robust decisions, not having to rely simply on the text on the page to match the query in order to sort through their index. Traditional keyword research is metrics driven and backward looking when it now needs to center around the user, their search journey, and content needs. And that's the main limitation. You need some of the basic traditional keyword research though, as they provide essential context for subsequent steps in your content strategy. The benefits of keyword research that we are still going to incorporate in our process in one way or another is to uncover query characteristics, and that those are things like whether the brand is mentioned, what kind of search intent there is, and identifying patterns of search behavior in relation to metrics like competitiveness and search volume. As a result, being able to implement a little bit more precise content targeting and optimization. We will also still work in some way or another with related keywords, but here we will actually focus on semantically connected terms, synonyms, jargon, local expression, language variations, to to better understand the way customers express themselves and in the process to make our website more discoverable. For instance, if a region-specific term is soft drink and that's more commonly used than soda in a particular market, incorporating the local expression improves our search relevance for those audiences. Concepts like these we're absolutely still going to rely on because at scale, some of the tools could give us that data a lot more quicker than what we would be able to do using some APIs. While search engine algorithms have changed, the principles of traditional keyword research remains fundamental. Semantic keyword research modernizes traditional techniques by incorporating context cues. Unlike traditional keyword research, which prioritizes metrics, semantic keyword research focuses on real-world user behavior, placing the searcher's thoughts and actions at the center of the process. It aims to uncover real-world context by emphasizing the user's search journey and the context surrounding their search. And the aim here is to understand not only what users type in the search bar, but also things like why they search, what prompted them to search, what content do they expect to see, what platform they expect to get their information needs met on, what content format do they prefer, how their searches connect to one another, what are the intrinsic motivations of them performing this search, and what information do they already have on this topic. This is a different perspective on keyword research when compared to the traditional way that keyword research is done. So we are going to take a reverse engineering approach and actually see how Google considers the importance of different query elements, and then we are going to apply the same approach to how we analyze keywords that we take from third parties in order to better understand what keywords to prioritize, what content to prioritize, what platforms to target. To summarize, in keyword research, the semantics matter. While traditional keyword research still carries value, there are more advanced concepts that search engines use to understand users that you should incorporate into workflows to ensure your pages are competitive. We will learn how to, instead of relying solely on keyword suggestions from third-party tools, incorporate different data points from user research, SERP analysis, entity research, and topic research. We will also learn how to fully understand the topic we're planning to cover and the subtopics that make it up as part of the process of building a keyword universe. We will demo how to research entities that your content is about, their attributes, variables that are commonly mentioned alongside them to advance the existing information landscape. Finally, we will also talk about more advanced concepts about how search engines work based on patterns and learn how to apply these concepts in the keyword research process. I'm really excited for the rest. Hopefully you are too. Thank you for watching this, and I will see you in the next one.